We're talking with Mississippi College head coach John Bland as we get set for today's game against the University of West Alabama. Coach, thanks for joining us. First of all, I want to talk about that Delta State game. Boy, what an exciting game it was. A great atmosphere, almost like a heavyweight battle with the two teams going back and forth. I know your team fell short of that ball game, but give us the overall takeaway from the Delta State game for you.
Well, like you said, I felt like it was a heavyweight battle and a championship caliber game. And it's good to be able to be in those games. And it's not something that's not our goal, just to be in it. We'd like to win them, but we had chances to win it. And it's probably the best Delta State team that we've seen in my whole time here. So it was good to be able to say we're toe-to-toe with the best right now, and we're just a few plays away from winning that game, and that would have been even better.
I thought one of the big differences in the ball game was the play of their offensive line. They had some big guys up front. They really controlled the football well when they had it, and that was a big difference in that game for Delta State.
It is. They've got some big, huge linemen, and they do a good job blocking. Their quarterback is another difference maker. Now Shegog was able to do some things with the running game. And the passing game, he wasn't quite as good. And I think that had something to do with our defense is stepping it up in that area. But against the run, it was very difficult. Not only stopping their backs, but their quarterback. And when they needed, 3 or 4, he was the guy they were going to call on, and they went to it an awful lot.
You talked about the Choctaw secondary. I think this has been one of the best units this team has had all season long. They held Shegog to just 50% passing. He came in at about 67%, so best in the league. He did not have a good night throwing the football because the coverage was good pretty much all night long.
The coverage was good, and I felt like we got one interception. I thought two officials said it was intercepted. They spotted it, and the one from behind was pretty animated in how much he wanted it to be incomplete. So that hurt us. But anyway, I felt like we got one. But we could have had several others that hit us in the hands, and there would have been good interceptions, but we were all around that football, like you said.
Well, the momentum kind of changed in the fourth quarter. It was, again, neck and neck. It had that feeling of a football game to where whoever had the football last had a really good chance to win it. But another momentum changed a little bit. You went for the fake punt. It didn't work out for you.
Right.
I know that was kind of a blow maybe emotionally for the team.
Well, it was, especially since they saw what was about to happen when the play was developing, and because they had no clue, and it was wide open, and I just didn't execute it. And I think it came down to just catching the ball, and it was one of those things that you like to be able to say you could do in your sleep. And kids throw and catch all the time, even when you tell them not to. They're playing ball, so it's not something that you can over practice or under practice, but it is something that would have made a difference in the ball game for sure.
One of the Choctaws who I thought had an outstanding individual game was Des Wallace. He came up with some big plays early in that football game, and even though the unit may have struggled, thought he had a really good individual game.
He is. He's flying around the ball, and he's making things happen, which is good. There's several guys. Ridge Futrell made a lot of tackles and was around the football an awful lot. Nick Grady was another guy that made a lot of tackles for us. So we're getting better. We just got to get better at wrapping up and tackling on those tough backs. It's not easy. It's easier for me to say that than it is to do it. I know that because practice is something that is the best way to get good at it. And it's hard to practice that physical tackling and running hard without risking injury during the week. We need them on the weekend, so it's very difficult.
The unit I think that has made the most progress throughout the course of the season is the special teams unit. They had lots of problems earlier on this season,
sure did.
But the coverage has been good. The returns when they kick it to Marcus Williams, when he gets a chance, he's been effective.
Big time.
And then on a slick night this past Saturday, our special teams unit, our kickers have done a good job.
Yeah, they did. We made all our extra points, made all of our field goals the other night. We attempted one, but we punted the ball extremely well. The net punt, which means they're not getting any return yardage, was outstanding. Our kickoff coverage was good at times, and it was not good at times. And some of that had to do with their returner. He's leading the league in kickoff return average. He's electric. He's very fast. But Marcus is right there behind him, so we've got one ourselves. But that has been improved dramatically, and they continue to work at it. That's the good thing about this. When you're close and you win, it can be demoralizing a little bit. Our players, our men, are continue to work and get better every week.
Let's turn now to West Alabama. We know this team is always going to have a lot of good, raw talent. They're going to come out, they're going to play hard. They've got some skills. that it's hard to find in this Gulf South Conference. So what do you know about this team that you're trying to prepare for?
Just like they always have been, they're very strong on defense. They can move the football on offense. They've been in every ball game, very similar to us, but they are talented, like you said. They've got guys who have gone to the NFL pretty much over a periodic time, and you know, good guys that are all pro right now, to be honest with you, that have been at West Alabama. So it seems to be one of those spots where how do they get those guys, but they've got them, and they're big and fast and strong. So we'll have to continue to work. It's going to be one of those things where a lot of this is we're continuing to get better offensively, defensively. The things that we have been, you know, trying to be perfect in is the tackling, not giving up the big plays on defense. We're getting better at that. Hopefully we can continue to this week. And then running the football and being able to protect the passer when we have a chance and we need that big pass. We need to get those things completed, and that'll help us, I think, making those plays that it takes to win a big ball game.
And this team has a great chance to finish with a winning record, and I know that's something that especially these seniors would really like to go out on a nice note, making sure they've got a winning record here in their final year.
Yeah, it would be a winning record in the conference right now, and then, of course, the next week would be the big one to go 6-5, but that would be good. And I know we're probably, to be honest with you, I feel like we're a little better than the 6-5 record. We have been right there in several ball games, and one of those that we felt like we could have and maybe should have won, but that's not the case. So it's going to be fighting down to the very end.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
John Bland with us as we get set for the Choctaws and the University of West Alabama.